Let me get everything set up. Sorry. It's giving me different messages every time I try to do the live, so sorry. There we go. Hopefully everybody can hear me. There's a bit of an echo in here. We're in Dave's garage. We haven't been here in quite some time. Far too long. I just don't get out of the house like I used to anymore. So welcome to Morning Coffee with Maddog Merv, and my friend Dave's right here. You've seen Dave before. There's Dave. But I came out here today to, of course, see Dave, visit with Dave, and do something in the way of video with his Nova, the progress. I wanted to show this to you guys coming up on tomorrow's show. So we'll wait just a second for some folks to catch up here because I got on early for once in my life. Can you believe that? Early.
Wow, good job.
By the way, what's the coffee? This is really good.
Costco.
Just regular Costco, just regular Costco
Oh, it's
blend.
Folgers.
Oh, Folgers. Really?
Bought it at Costco.
Folgers usually isn't that good. That's amazing. Yeah, that's really nice.
That's because Dave made it.
Good morning. Yeah, see somebody's on here. That's awesome. I think I put too many scoops in when I make my coffee.
So it's pretty strong.
Yeah, and I do dark roast usually. So when I put my scoops in, it's usually like a teaspoon tablespoon, and I'll put that in. And I think so I'll usually do like 1 per cup type of thing. So I don't know, maybe that's a little much, but this is really good coffee. I'm glad I came and got some good coffee.
Yeah, we usually do a scoop per 2 cups.
For 2 cups. Okay, well that's maybe I'm a little strong. I don't know. I'm not a very good cook, so let's just put it that way. I learned how to burn cold cereal, so there you go. Hey, we got somebody else on here. All right, let's get started. So, welcome to Morning Coffee with Maddog Merv from Dave's Garage. Yay! We'll take you on a little see of the whole place here in just a few minutes. So, shout outs today. The one shout out that I wanted to give this week was to a friend of mine named Mark. So a lot of you guys know I have 2 friends named Mark. One, we went to high school together. I got my very first job at the age of 14 when he vacated that position. And we had small engines together as freshmen in high school, and just never looked back. We've been friends since. And he's one of the closest people to me. And then there's another gentleman named Mark that I met through the YouTube channel. And Mark's one of those guys I wish we could have been, lifelong friends, because he's really cool. He's a great guy, and he really likes the history. He went to the opposing high school, the rival high school from the one I went to. But we have a lot of things in common, a lot of great stories. And I really appreciate him. This week, I visited with him, and he, again, picked up some things while he was out thrifting for me. So there's a couple of kits that we're going to be doing some kit hoarder stash on here before long. One of them is that Chevy truck, the step side. It's green. I can't remember. It's like a Chevy, or maybe it's a GMC. Anyway, it's like a 65. Yeah. So anyway, perfect in the, still in the bags and all that. Great kit. Can't wait to build it. Of course, I'll paint it red like my old one, but anyway, so he picked up a couple of kits. He picked up a couple of other things for me. Bless his heart, he helps keep me in clothing. Got a shirt that fits absolutely perfect. I wore it all day yesterday, or I would have worn it today. So that's why I'm not wearing it today. But anyway, shout out to my friend Mark, and thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for all you do for me. Just thanks for being a friend. It means a lot. So last week on the show, we looked at the Troubled Bridge over water, which was a fun build in the beginning. Doing the bridge itself was fun, but it was the first time I had done a plaster structure and put it together, and I didn't check the fit on some of the things, and of course there's gaps where I'm not used to having gaps, and the only thing I can think to fill it in is like use some liquid plaster and that kind of thing. But painting it was a lot of fun. Getting it, when I started, I had no idea how it was going to wind up. I just knew the colors I kind of had on hand and wanted to use, and it turned out, I thought it turned out really good. For somebody who doesn't do very much in the way of destroyed and rubble and all that kind of stuff, I like how it turned out. So hopefully you guys did too. Hey Pete, how you doing, buddy? How are things over there across the pond? Hey Mark, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. What did we call that? England's Pond. Yeah, we've renamed it now because we can do that here in America, Pete. We have the power to do that, or at least one man has the power to do that. So we've renamed it England's Pond. So how's things over there in the United Kingdom currently? Which, by the way, I've got daughters, three of them, three daughters. My three youngest daughters are going to be heading your way in June. They're headed over to England first, and then I think they wind up in Ireland for several days. They're going on a little European trip, so good for them. It'll be a lot of fun, but anyway. And then good to see you, Mark. I was just telling the people how awesome you are, so thanks. That bridge last week, though, getting the paint into it was fun. But then you got these resin pieces. I'm just walking across the Gulf of England. There's
No, England had a goal.
They do now.
They just renamed it.
Yeah, they just renamed it. Yeah. Anyway, so when it came to painting the resin parts, that was a challenge because all of a sudden, I've been using these pigments to stain the plaster, and now I've got to figure out how I'm going to make these look like the rest of the bridge. So fortunately, I've got a lot of paints, both acrylics and enamels, and I was able to find some stuff that was pretty close, and I'm glad it worked out. In hindsight, I don't know that I'm going to do the styrofoam base again. That was kind of a nightmare. I should have put a wooden piece down first. Actually, I put a wooden piece down last, and it's got stability, it's sturdy and all, but it took a lot more work than I had planned, particularly getting the edges on the base. So anyway, I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a fun build. It's a neat piece of terrain that I can use for different dioramas, or for when I play the kill teams with my son on Warhammer. So this week coming up, I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to mention it a few times here. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at Dave's Nova. Now, for those of you who have kind of kept with me over the years, it was 5 years ago you got that thing?
Coming up on 5 in May.
Wow. Yeah, in May. So during the pandemic, that's right. We went up to Idaho and hauled this thing home. It was running and had a 350 in it, but it was tired. It was a car that had been kind of worked over a few different times. Not a good restoration or anything like that. Your typical hot rod that guys do in the backyard. Anyway, Dave has done a lot to it since our last update, and it's coming along nicely. It's looking really good. So we'll look at that tomorrow on tomorrow's show. The Kit Hoarder stash. I finally got that Mustang that I really wanted. Finally came in. I got to preface this with, remember you guys, I've been building little Warhammer figures that the company out of Great Britain that makes these, absolutely excellent engineering. They go together so well There's a little cleanup of some lines like there is with every figure, but the sculpts are great and they go together well. And then I tried to build a car that was put out in the 1970s from I'm just going to say it. I mean, come on. You guys know me. I have no filters. From a piece of crap company called MPC. I mean, AMTs sometimes had some pretty bad ones too, but MPC was notorious for crap kits. And wow. I've been wanting this, been wanting to build it, been wanting to paint it up. So I get it out of the box. I start cutting the body parts to, fit them so that I can get this thing primed and painted. First thing I run into is it's got two hoods and neither one of them fit. Neither one of them are close to fitting.
Sounds like my car.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. it's yeah. I know you couldn't even close the hood because you had to cut probably a 1/16 of an inch off the hood, maybe a little bit less off the front, but you get the idea, just to get it to fit down in there. And the plastic on it is thick, so if it was in real life, the hood would be this thick. I mean, it's just okay. So there's problem one. At the edge of the hood, there's a couple of little curves. And that should fit right in there, right? Oh no, big gap, good 1/8 of an inch in some areas. So I had to deal with that. Once I got the hood to close and kind of look okay, then I moved to the hatchback because for whatever reason, they couldn't just mold the hatchback into the body. Oh no, let's make it a separate piece. Okay. And it doesn't fit. It's not that it's too big. It's maybe a little smallish, just a little. So I work it a little bit and it's not quite the same shape. So some areas stick up and you got to push it down and glue it in place. Oh my goodness. Then I get to the very back of it. And instead of a nice straight line like a hatchback should have, the corners are up like this. So there's a big gap. Okay, got to tackle that. So I go from really, really good kits to this really piece of crap kit. And it's frustrating, but it's a challenge. And so I, overcome it. Next week from now, I think we'll have a show on that building, that Mustang. Oh my goodness. The nice thing is when it's done, it'll look really cool. Because that Mustang 2, even though it was kind of a small car, tires and wheels on it from stock were just, they were like, what were they, like 13-inch, about this wide, tire in real life. Just, yeah. They made a couple performance options, performance for 75, for 76. Yeah. 110 horsepower. Ooh, that's a lot of, that's the performance model. Anyway, they made some enhancements, got a little bit wider tires, a little bit taller tires on it. And it was, not bad. I wanted to buy one at one time. I went to a used car dealership. They had one of the Cobra 2s and it was a 77. I went to sit in it. Now, mind you, I've had an MGB, a 1969 British MGB GT, which is a coupe. And I fit in that car better than 90% of anything else I've owned. Great little car. It was so much fun. But I fit in it well. This Mustang 2, forget it. And this was when I was skinny. This was when I was like 200 pounds. I was half the man I am now. It was, just not for me. So it'd be nice to have one to look at, but I could never drive one. So anyway, I'm looking forward to getting this thing hot rodded out. It's got some great decals and it'll be neat when it's done. I guarantee it, but it's just getting it there might be a little frustrating. I mean, this is a kit that as I was trying to fit this body, I just about threw it across the room. It was that bad. It was pretty bad. So anyway, that was the review we did. We will not have a kit hoarder stash this week, but we will have it again in another week. So yeah, 2 weeks from this last Thursday. And we'll probably do that Chevy that I got from my friend Mark. We'll probably look at that. So, what else is going on? Oh yeah, the weather this week. So
roller coaster.
A roller coaster, typical Utah in spring. So here we were almost in the low 70s for a couple of days. And then this front moves through, this weather system moves through.
Drop down to 30s.
Yeah,
snow.
30s and snow and cold and yuck. And it was the week the kids were on spring break. So they were all cooped up in the house. Oh man. Hey, Mr. Johnson, how are you? Oh, okay. Well, thanks for listening while you're getting things set up. I appreciate that. I'll update you on the shed here in a minute. So anyway, during the week, the weather was what we would call unsettled. Definitely unsettled. Definitely unsettled. It's still a little chilly today. Yesterday was bright and sunny, but cold. Today it's bright and sunny and not quite as cold. I mean, we're going to be in the low 60s, maybe, if we're lucky. But tomorrow, we'll be in the upper 60s, and the rest of the week, we actually hit 80, supposedly, by the end of the week, which is really cool.
You want to know what it is right now?
What is it right now? Oh, it's 43 degrees. How wonderful.
But it feels like 37.
Yeah, it feels like there. Of course it does. Of course it feels colder, because we're in Utah.
And then tomorrow, it's going to be 69 degrees for us.
69 degrees?
Thursday it'll be 74, Friday it'll be 80.
Yeah, 80 degrees on Friday. That'll be nice.
What a swing.
What a swing. So because of the unsettled weather, because of some other unsettling things in the house, this last week I had started to move everything out of my little build area so that I could go through everything and sort out what I really wanted to keep and some things that maybe I could sell at a yard sale or at a model show that's coming up in June. And long story short, by yesterday, I finally gave up. I said, I'm done. I'm done trying to do this. Just too many things keep coming up. So I piled everything behind me, which you'll see in my upcoming videos. There's a whole pile of stuff right behind me. It looks like a hoarder's paradise. And that little corner of the world, I guess, is. The rest of the doghouse is nice and cleaned out, though, so we can get to the camping equipment and, all the other stuff we need. But so it's just a frustrating week that way. I couldn't go through my stuff like I wanted. Then the heater went out in the house. My furnace went out.
Your furnace
My furnace went out.
What a hell of a time for your furnace.
What a hell of a time for the furnace to go out. Yeah, it couldn't have gone out this week when it's going to be, 80. No, it went out this last week when it was in the 30s, and found out there was this one little switch. Okay, $200 later, and I've got to order the part. Comes in a week type of thing. We thought we had it fixed, and the next day it goes out again. It's been a real pain. Had to kind of tinker with it every day to try to get it to at least get some heat in the house. So there's been that. My son who lives with me is looking to buy a house 3 doors down from me. And so I've been involved with helping him do all of that. So it's just been a very busy week. Typical for Maddog Merv. Had the little kids over, of course, because it was spring break and they aren't in school. So I got them all, which was fun. It was fun to have them, but it's just you can't do anything, when you got a bunch of little kids. You have to watch. So, yeah. But the one thing I did get done. So there was a new, Warhammer put out this thing called Blood and Zeal. It's a brand new kill team. But what I wanted was this statue. So for today's program, the announcement for today's program, there's a statue, a kind of whitish colored, creamish colored statue. And that's what came in this kill team. That's why I wanted it, because I mean, this statue, she's like this tall, really cool. Fun to paint, fun to build. This had some gaps in it, and so I had to use a lot of sprue goo to fix those, because these seams were in places I wasn't going to be able to come back and sand, putty, or anything like that. So I got to tell you, if you guys who are modelers don't know about sprue goo, check. I have a video on sprue goo and how to make it. Check it out, because it's definitely a game changer in a lot of different ways. And this particular build, this statue, no filler other than the sprue goo. Just was able to put that in, hit it with some Tamiya ultra thin cement, which thinned it out, runs right into those cracks, and when it off gases, it's plastic. What's left is the solids, which is the plastic. It's just like using liquid plastic. It's awesome. And it turned out really good. So that was fun. That took start to finish without drying time. All of the work time, I was in maybe 3 hours, maybe, if that, maybe 2. It was a quick build. It was a quick paint. I just base coated it with some Mr. Surfacer. Went over that with, I can't remember what that stuff's called now. It's that AK wash, the rust wash that I like to use on so many different things. And I went over that, and it kind of turned it a tannish color, the whole thing, but really got down in the cracks and recesses. And then I started dry brushing with 3 different colors of white. 3 different colors of white, well, gray and white. One was kind of a tannish white, one was kind of a grayish white, and then one was a white. And you see the results on the announcement for this today. So anyway, that was fun. I've been working on some of my other Warhammer figures, but then I was also working on that Mustang. Wow. Yeah. There's a bunch of car projects lined up that I want to get working on pretty quick, but just got to have the time to do it. So anyway, that was what my week was like here, and it was extremely busy. Nice thing is, last Sunday was the last time we had actual decent weather. Right. It was in the low 60s that day, and I spent it at the park. I have some family members who are part of a sports group. They do dodgeball in the winter, and in the summer, spring months, they do kickball, and then in the summer, I think it's softball. And it's a co-ed thing. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to watch and support. We've got a lot of friends that are a part of this group. And so last week, I'm at my old stomping grounds, Sugar House Park, where I used to spend a lot of my youth. Oh, yeah. And was enjoying sending messages to my kids and grandkids, telling them about, this is the place where when I was 8 years old, I used to fly a kite, or when I was 10, I used to launch rockets, and, just some different things like that. So that was a lot of fun. The park's changed a lot over the years, but still, it was fun to drive through. It's the park it's the park we used to cruise. And Mark, I know you know about this because, you had a Mustang one time, and I know that's kind of what we did. We'd go cruise a park, like Liberty Park was a popular one. Sugar House Park up on the east side was a very popular one.
It used to be nice when you could circle around.
Yeah,
and then they made it so you couldn't.
Yeah, that for whatever reason they made it so you can't cruise the park.
Just like State Street.
Yeah, halfway through they put in a big island, so you have to exit the park, go down, pull a U-turn somewhere. I mean, like it's going to stop you from coming back through the park. Idiots here. Anyway, so they made it so you can't cruise around the park, but we used to do that all the time. That was what we did in high school. Yeah. And you guys, I think, have heard this story before, but I'm going to relay it again anyway. So I think you were with me when this happened, I think.
It's a good possibility.
So they had, for late spring, it was sometime in May, they had come up with this thing called the Frisbee, what was it? The Frisbee fly-in. Because frisbees used to be really a popular thing to do, throwing frisbee.
Yeah, but it wasn't frisbee golf yet.
Nope, but it wasn't frisbee golf yet. I mean, we used to go over and just throw frisbee at the park. You'd throw a football, you'd throw a frisbee, and you had both in the trunk of your car. And in fact, I still do. I have a nice, very heavy frisbee in the back of my car. Haven't thrown it in years, but that's what we used to do. We used to go over and throw frisbee. It was a lot of fun. And it was a very popular thing. So they had what was called the Frisbee Fly-In, and thousands of people come over to the park. Because the other thing they had was the Mr. and Miss Utah Tan Contest.
Ooh, I remember that.
which was sponsored by Coppertone. They set up a stage, and at some point they'd start the whole thing, and you'd have thousands of guys. You have some girls there too, but thousands of guys lined up around this stage to watch the parade of bikinis and speedos.
There were no cell phones, no pictures.
Yeah, no cell phones.
Well, you took a picture, but you had to get it developed in a photo mat.
Yeah, that was the thing. You had your 110 Instamatic you could take pictures with. That was about it. And some of the young ladies like to show their tan line, which was wonderful. And of course, we'd all be cheering, we want more. But it is a public park, so yeah, we had to be careful. Anyway, so Dave and I are cruising through the park, which was very common for us to do. And windows down, music playing, Hot Rod Cougar, and we're getting yelled at and pointed to by these different groups of girls. And I can't remember.
They thought you were Bo Duke.
No, it was what was his name? The young BG, Andy Gibb.
Oh, Andy Gibb.
Yeah, it was Andy Gibb. Because back then I had long, flowing blonde hair. You guys have seen the pictures. I know it's hard to believe I'm the same guy. Anyway, there's these girls yelling, I didn't know he was going to be here. Look, there's Andy Gibb. It's just funny. Anyway, the good old days, Dave. The good old days. One of the things he and I have been talking about, and this might be a good year to do it, is take a Saturday or Sunday and go visit some of the old haunts that we went to, kind of film it.
If it's still there.
Yeah, well, some of the places are. Love this
affordable housing yet.
Love the cruising State Street video. That actually, that was one of those things on a whim. I had dropped one of my young daughters off at the time at her job, which was out at Jordan Commons. And on the way back, I've got Grizzly with me, and I thought, this would be a fun morning, Sunday morning, beautiful morning, to cruise down State Street, kind of backwards, but and look at the places. So maybe we'll do that again and update that cruising state video, because that would be fun. For those of you who grew up in the same era that I did, there was this thing, cruising it's what we did. We didn't have cell phones, we didn't have video games and stuff like that. And so we do a lot of things like we get in the car and we just drive. And cruising, usually in May, usually some people would get out early in April, but it was just kind of too cold in the evenings. Usually it was in May. And you'd go out after dark, say like 9 o'clock was a good time. 8 was a little early, 9 o'clock was better. And you'd get out at 9 o'clock on State Street in Salt Lake City, at the top of State Street, and you could see down for miles, just nothing but taillights, because it would be packed. It would be absolutely packed, and you weren't going very fast because you couldn't. There were stoplights. There were between the top of State Street and 3300 South, which was kind of the big final turnaround for most of us. You had 14 lights, 14 semaphores to have to stop at. So, and of course, every once in a while, somebody would, when the light would turn green, if they were at the front of the line, they'd peel out and, race the guy next to them, that kind of stuff. You'd get all sorts of equipment back in the days. You'd get stuff with uncorked headers. You'd get cars with running slicks that would be out there. Hey, Chris, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. How are things down under? You guys are going into the fall season, aren't you? Ooh, yeah. It's that whole backwards thing I can never get. But hopefully you're doing okay, buddy. But it's really good. It's really good to see you on here. But this cruising, Chris, I bet you have some great stories of cruising there in Australia. That had, because you guys had Fords, you guys had Dodges and stuff.
Awesome for
I mean, a John Goss special is like one of my, it's one of my two dream cars that I will never have. But yeah, the John Goss special. Ooh, did a show on one a while back. But I bet, yeah, good old days of cruising with the hot rods. And what started this, Chris, is I was talking about last weekend. I was at the park, driving around the park, and in the good old days, it was all hot rods. Not all, but mostly. I mean, some of the girls would get their parents' station wagon and come out, but all the guys, had either their bikes, which weren't Harleys back then. Most of the guys couldn't afford Harleys, but other things.
Hondas.
Hondas. Yeah, we had a few of those out there. But cruising the park in the old days was really neat cars and really good music. Yeah, Holden. Now, who made Holden? Holden's a Chevy. That's right.
Holden's a Chevy?
Yeah, Holden's a Chevy. Yeah. Which they had some real good looking Holdens. Yeah. And then that Dodge Charger thingy that was just weird looking. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, but anyway, some of those, what we exported to you guys, we wish we could have had here, because they were really just cool looking. But back in the day, the music, and I get debated by younger people all the time. So yeah, every generation said that they had the best music. And I said, well, here's my case in point, buddy. Because you're like 24, 25, and you're listening to Journey, aren't you? You're listening to Def Leppard, aren't you? You're listening to, and I went through a lot of these different, that they are still using in commercials and movies and other places. And they're like, oh yeah, we had the best music. Sorry, we did. And so we'd cruise through the park listening to the best music ever, and as loud as we could at the time, with your 6x9 speakers in the back.
Windows down.
With the windows down and no air conditioning, because cars, most of them didn't have them back then. Anyway, the original cruising state in the springtime was just amazing. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. CLCL. Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. You guys know I do this for fun. I enjoy the trips down memory lane. I enjoy the model building. I don't stick with just one little subject like so many guys do, because they're trying to make a fortune on YouTube, and there's no fortune for most of us. I just do it for fun, and I do it because I like to share what I do with you guys. I know a lot of you guys can relate. I don't have the nice, clean, perfect workspace like you see so many people do.
Yours is usually cluttered.
It's organic, yeah. It's what you see is what you get, man. And the same with my reviews on kits. You're going to get it how I see it. I have spent a considerable amount of time in the hobby industry. Ran a retail hobby shop for some period of time, and I've been associated with one of the large online hobby dealers for over 20 years now. So I feel that I can give you a good idea of what these kits are when I get them and look at them. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it like some people do, so that the companies will send them more free kits. So where do I get all my model kits? That's a great question. So on my YouTube page here, my header, whatever you want to call it, you'll see a bunch of links. One is to a company called Kit Links. Kit Links they used to be great models. There's a different car cruise every week. Oh man, that'd be so much fun. Wait till you see this Chevy Nova, Chris. Tomorrow's show. Wait till you see this Nova. You're gonna love it. So, Kit Links is a place that I get stuff online, but I also go to MRS Hobby, which is which is local here, but they also sell online. And the cool thing about MRS is they get in these collections from people, and that's the same with KitLinks now. They get stuff in from people, collections, and then they resell them. And so you'll find kits that you haven't seen in years that have been out of production for years at either of those two places. And so that's where I do primarily most of my shopping. Once in a while, I'll get something off of eBay because I can't find it anywhere else, but I can find it there. I can find it for a good deal. And usually I don't, unless it's a good deal, I won't buy stuff. The other thing I do is I go to hobby shows, and then I'll get stuff out of hobby shows. Oh yeah. Like nationals. I'll go to nationals. I'll go to regionals, hobby shows, and there's always vendors there with all sorts of stuff. That great deals too, real good deals. I just hate to pay a lot of money for, like, this Mustang was like 31 bucks. I remember paying $5 for it back when I first built it. So, and it's the same crappy kit with nicer wheels.
Same amount of plastic.
With nicer tires, with pad printed tires. So anyway, what else was I gonna? The cruising thing. So yeah, some people got upset because of all the shenanigans of us heathens.
Noise of the engines.
Yeah, the noise of the engines. And this was about the time that big monster trucks came into being for the public. So you saw Bigfoot and things like that. And so guys would jack their trucks up, so you could almost walk underneath them and get these 5-ton axles and other things, and have these big lifted trucks. Well, Utah took offense to that real quick, and within the year of those starting to show up, started making rules and regulations for those vehicles so that pretty much get them off the road, which really sucked because they were really cool. I mean, Cruising State was a car show on wheels. It was a lot of fun, and you spent it with your friends, and you got to meet new friends. It was just it was a great time. Unfortunately, we don't have those kind of things anymore. Chris, you were saying that they have some cruises every once in a while, periodically at these certain places. And that happens here too with different car groups. Usually it's a Sunday morning cruise or a Saturday, afternoon cruise, something like that. The Mustang group here is very strong, and they have some really good stuff that they do. So anyway, I think that was all. That firefighter kit. Yeah. Okay, so the firefighter kit I had built many years ago. I don't remember how that one turned out. That, again, I built most of those Mustangs back in the day. But this new one, this Helldrivers, just be wary. If you're going to build it, there's definitely some issues with it, and you're going to have to pull some skills out of your hat to get it to fit right. Now, World War II tanks, I do a lot of that. You just asked if I do a lot of World War II tanks. Mostly German, I do some Japanese, and I do some American stuff too. So search, now that you're subscribed, search my videos, find them. There should be a whole playlist that says tanks a lot, and there's a tank museum that used to be here that's now moved that I visited, and some great real stuff there. I haven't done much in the way of Soviet, believe it or not. It's just a rabbit hole I haven't gone down, because I know if I do, I'll have everything on the planet, involved in the Soviet tanks. It's just kind of how I am obsessively. But I think there's a couple of Soviet tank builds on my channel somewhere, I think. But anyway, I do a lot of 35th scale armor stuff. World of Tanks, I still play that from time to time, and I do. You're very welcome. I used to build a lot of the stuff from the World of Tanks world, just because I'm kind of into those fantasy tanks, not fantasy tanks, but the paper panzer type of things. That way I don't have to be as accurate. That way I can use my creativity and kind of do what I want. So anyway, tomorrow we're going to be looking at the Nova. We're going to do, yeah, there hasn't been quite as many of those kits. Dragon had some great ones out. In fact, I do have a JS2 that I still need to build with a metal barrel. That is on my build list of stuff I want to do. Hey, take care, CLCL. Thanks for joining me, man. So tomorrow we're going to be walking around looking at the Nova and the progress made on this Nova. Think you guys will like that. And then no kit hoarder stash this week. And I think next week we're going to be looking at that Mustang 2, building that Mustang 2. We'll see how far I get on it in a whole nother week. But I'm anxious to get it done because it's going to look cool. I just don't know exactly how it's going to look cool, but I know it'll look cool. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. We've been doing this, 40 minutes now. And thank you for being a part of my world today and my morning coffee. Morning coffee with Merv and Dave. And I got to get to the park because, well, here in another hour, they're going to be playing their first game. So take care, Mark. Thanks again, man. I really appreciate that shirt fit perfect, by the way. I was going to send you a picture. It fits perfect. It's awesome. Wore it all day yesterday. So, okay, guys, take care. We will see you tomorrow for the walk around on the Nova. Take care. Now I got to, yep, right there.